Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of League City Toastmasters. I'm glad that each of you are here this morning. My name is Scott Livingston. I'm the president of League City Toastmasters. And what I'd like to do is just spend a few minutes. Let's go around. We'll start with our other club officers. We'll start with Alicia. And what I'd like for you to do is say your first and last name, your title, and how long you've been in Toastmasters, and then we'll go on to another individual, okay? And then after all the introductions, it'll come back to me, and then we'll continue with our meeting because we got a pretty big agenda this morning. Go ahead, Alicia. Welcome.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I am Alicia Lamborghini West. I was in Toastmaster for 1 year and a half, something like this, and I am the Vice President of Education for this club. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. And then let's go to Megan. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Lemaster, and I am the Vice President of Membership, and I have been a Toastmaster since May. It's nice to see everyone.
Thanks, Megan. Okay, Elizabeth.
I am Elizabeth Ruiz, Sergeant at Arms, also club coach, and I became a Toastmaster this year in January. Welcome.
Welcome. Good morning, Elizabeth. And then let's go to Patricia. Good morning, Patricia.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Patricia Goodman. I was actually a part of another Toastmaster in Friendswood, but then I moved and I've switched over here. So this is my second time in this Toastmaster, so I'm glad to be here.
Welcome. Welcome, Patricia. And let's go to Darcy. Is it Darcy? How do you pronounce your first name?
Darcia.
Darcia. Good morning, Darcia.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Darcia Handy. This is my first meeting. I've been a Toastmaster for a week and a half, and I'm very excited to be here.
Fantastic. Welcome, Darcia. And in fact, one of the things we're going to do is a new member induction this morning, and Darcia will be inducted as our newest member. And speaking of new members, Renee, you were inducted recently. Welcome. Good morning, Renee.
Good morning. I'm Renee Griffin, and I joined Toastmasters 1 month ago. Today, I am the grammarian.
Fantastic. Welcome, Renee. And let's go to Spencer. Welcome, Spencer.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Spencer Heilig. I'm not a Toastmaster yet. I'm new to this, so I'm trying to figure out how exactly to get started and everything. But I'm excited to be here. So thank you guys for helping me out and becoming a Toastmaster and improving my speaking skills.
Welcome, Spencer. And then let's see, Eugene. Welcome, Eugene.
Hello, can everyone listen to me? This is my third time joining the Toastmaster, and I feel like Toastmaster is more like a useful because the English actually is not my first language, and due to I joined the Toastmaster right now, my English is getting better. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Leslie, good morning.
Good morning. This is my first time as well on Toastmaster. My name is Leslie Mendoza, and I'm interested in better public speaking and speaking with, of course, all of you.
Fantastic. Well, you're in the right place. And I failed to mention that I've been in Toastmasters, I guess, about 1.5 years now, and time passes really quickly. And one of the things I like about Toastmasters is that it does provide a fantastic, safe forum in which to practice your public speaking skills, communication skills, leadership. We have opportunities for people to jump in and participate and to lead and to try and to fail in a safe environment. So you're all in a fantastic environment. I've learned so much since I've been in Toastmasters, and I'm really glad to be a part of this organization and particularly this club. Okay, we've done introductions. One of the things I always like to do is I like to spend a few minutes and do a PowerPoint presentation. And let me go ahead and pull it up and then share my screen. This is a PowerPoint that many of you may have seen, but just in case you have not seen it, I want to make sure everyone is very familiar with it. I'm going to hit the play button. All right, there you go. So a little bit about Toastmasters International. Our mission is to become to empower individuals to become effective communicators and leaders. The mission of League City Toastmasters is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills that will result in greater self-confidence and growth. The core values of Toastmasters International are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. Toastmasters International is headquartered in Inglewood, Colorado, and membership in the organization exceeds 358,000 people in more than 16,000 clubs in 145 countries now. And the organization's been around since 1924, and it has helped people from diverse backgrounds become more confident speakers, communicators, and leaders. People join Toastmasters to improve their public speaking skills, build leadership skills, maximize their potential, enjoy unlimited personal growth, enjoy networking in a professional and supportive environment, practice writing and presenting speeches, gain a competitive advantage in the workplace, and build self-confidence and awareness. And if you notice, there's an introductory video down here. Pathways is Toastmasters' proprietary, flexible, interactive, online training to develop your communication and leadership skills. It offers up to 300 competencies and 11 specialized learning paths. Those are the learning paths in the upper right corner. It provides real-world transferable skills, and it's available in multiple languages. And if you'd like to learn more about Pathways, please notice the 3 links in the lower right corner. League City Toastmasters is a new and a young club. We have a lot of fresh opportunities for growth, talked about for people to be involved in leadership and to do some exciting and new things. I'll talk about something that some of our officers did just yesterday that was new and exciting, just as an example. Our goal is to become a distinguished club, which means to hit annual goals. We are based in League City, Texas. However, we have a global perspective. We're open to anybody being a part of our club, and that is because we want to be diverse and inclusive. And we are in a league of our own. And the reason of that is because League City is situated between Houston and Galveston and I-45. A lot of the executives, the professionals that live in League City are in education. They're in petrochemical and energy, life sciences, aviation, aerospace. They're in maritime and logistics. They're in all these fields. So Toastmasters is an ideal platform for those types of professionals to grow and to share and network with one another. And this is a map that shows where League City is located. I know many of you know this, but people from around the world may not. Halfway between Houston and Galveston and I-45. And there's a picture of League City. And then some of the things that I mentioned about League City that makes us unique is our proximity to NASA and all these assets on the right-hand side of the slide. And again, we're in a league of our own. We are unique. We have a lot to offer aspiring executives that want to grow in their public speaking, communication, and leadership skills. Okay, with that, I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay, the next thing is let's do our new member induction. Please, Megan.
All right. And so today we are inducting Darcia. Membership in Toastmasters is a privilege, and the only way to gain the benefits of our program is to actively participate. Do you, Darcia Handy, promise to be an active member of this club, to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for your duties?
Yes, I do.
Do you also promise to fulfill the other points in the Toastmaster promise?
Yes, I do.
Do you, members of the League City Toastmaster, promise to support Darcia as she works the Toastmaster program?
Yes.
Yes.
I will.
It is my pleasure to declare you installed as a member of the League City Toastmasters Club. Welcome.
Yay. Welcome, Darcia.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank
I like that icon, Elizabeth. That's neat. You got to teach us where you found that.
you.
Cute.
We all have it. If you, on your bottom screen, click reactions, and there's a little party hat,
Oh, I've never
a
used
cry
that one
face,
before.
a cry
Hey.
face.
Now see, and how many in professional places do you get to use something fun like that? And it's considered professional in Toastmasters. All right, fantastic. Well, that leads me to one of the next things I wanted to share, and that is that we have been proactive in engaging our community and providing a resource to the citizens of League City. So we put a blurb and what we call the city manager's update, and one of the librarians saw it and she said, hey, we'd like you guys to come to the library and do an adult services program. So yesterday, Elizabeth Ruiz and Kelly King, who's our vice president of public relations, we went to the library and did a program, and Megan was also instrumental in helping to put this program on as well. And Megan, of course, is our VP of marketing. So we went to the library, gave this program, and in fact, before I forget, I want to put a link in the chat. I'm looking for the chat. I don't see a chat. Okay, well, I'll email it after the fact. I thought we had a chat somewhere.
We do, but this Zoom does not allow us to chat with each other or to change our names. I wonder if they'll let us share our screen.
Well,
Yes,
okay, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So I'm going to email you guys a link to the presentation. It's a PowerPoint that we gave yesterday, okay? And basically, I think it was a fantastic presentation. Honestly, I'm going to put it together, but that's not why it's awesome. It's awesome because Toastmasters made it easy for me to put the presentation together. So what we did is we met and we talked about Toastmasters International. And then what we did is we gave the people who came to the presentation, we told them how to prepare for an interview, which we learned in Toastmasters. We taught them how to control their anxiety, which we learned in Toastmasters. We taught them how to know their audience, which we learned in Toastmasters. And then we taught them about League City Toastmasters Club. So it was a great presentation, I thought, well received, and the librarian wants us to come back. And when I mean come back, she wants us to come back in the spring, come back in the summer, and come back in the fall and just do all kinds of programs. So first of all, it's a great opportunity for us to engage the public. It's an opportunity for our members to get out there and practice speaking. And it's also an opportunity for us to serve as a resource for the community. And it's also an opportunity for us to promote ourselves to the community subtly, if you will. So thank you to Elizabeth and Kelly for being an essential part of that. And thank you for Megan for her assistance as well. One of the things I learned is this thing called PI. And Elizabeth will tell you that PI stands for prepared speeches, impromptu speeches, and evaluation. All types of speeches that we give in Toastmasters. In fact, we do that every single meeting. Today, we're going to have prepared speeches, impromptu, and evaluations. But one of the things that Kelly King mentioned is that she's also found out that it means praise. In other words, you praise one another, you instruct one another, and you encourage one another how to be more proficient in our public speaking and leadership skills. So that's PI, two different ways to use PI. Our meeting place, just a little FYI, on October the 23rd, our paid members are going to vote to determine whether or not we're going to start in-person meetings. Now, for those who are our guests, we want to know what your feedback is as well. I don't think it's going to be a close vote, but if it is a close vote, knowing what our guests think could be the deciding factor. So on October the 23rd, we're going to have a vote. You can show up in person. You can send a proxy by email. I'll put it out an email after this meeting, letting everybody know how to vote and everything. But again, it's to determine whether or not to start in-person meetings. If and when we meet in person, it'll be in League City. It'll either be at Walding Station off of 518 near League City Park, or it would be at our former location at the Small Business Development Center. And we may just continue to meet by Zoom. It's obviously very convenient. But that's something that someone has asked that we discuss, and so I told them we would, okay? I'm almost done. I've got to leave in about 5 or 7 minutes. I'm on the board of directors for another entity, the Texas Economic Development Council, and I've been voluntold to participate in something they're doing. So I'm gonna have to bow out. So what that means is we need a Toastmaster today. So someone who's a paid member can be Toastmaster. And Renee has stepped up to take my role today as grammarian. So thank you, Renee. So at this time, I would usually hand off the meeting to the Toastmaster, but we need a Toastmaster. So I'm looking at our paid members. That's, let's see, Darcia, Elizabeth, Megan. Now, what I would propose is if anyone would like to be Toastmaster, there is a script that we use, and it's in the invite that I sent yesterday. If you look in that invite, there's some attachments, and one of them says Toastmaster. And literally what you do is read off the script. The other thing too, let me just share my screen really quick. On the agenda, which you can also pull up from our website as a paid member, basically, if you see right here, it says Toastmaster. The Toastmaster basically runs the meeting, calls upon the timer, grammarian, counter, and ballot counter to explain the roles and so forth. So at that time, I know we need to move quickly. Does any paid member like to try their hand at being Toastmaster? And I promise you, Elizabeth will, as our club coach, Elizabeth will help you.
Scott, there's a few others we need. You signed up for table topics. We need a table topics person. We also need a general evaluator.
Okay.
We need a ballot counter.
Okay.
And I don't have access to change the agenda. I can't get in here to change it. So maybe you can really quick.
I don't know. I tried that as well, but in the essence of time, I'd say let's just roll because it's already 8:50. I mean, I could try to change it. I would say someone just write it down on paper. Elizabeth, can you be the Toastmaster today?
Sure.
And then Darcia, would you be table topics master? And what that means, Darcia, is you make up topics and then maybe let somebody else pick who is going to take that topic, just so there's a little bit of randomness in it. Another thing you can do, Darcia, is if you go to that invite, there is a table topics master with 365 topics. And what you could say, Darcia, yes, Darcia, excuse me. And what you could say is, okay, Eugene, pick a number between 1 and 365. And if he says 177, then you say, okay, your topic is, and then you read whatever is 177. That's what I like to do. Just to kind of keep it somewhat random. So no one feels like you're trying to stick it to them with a certain impromptu topic. Okay, Elizabeth, as the Toastmaster, you want to try to cover the other roles as well?
I'm doing it now. I just renamed Darcia. We need a general evaluator. I can do that too if no one else wants to do it. You evaluate the meeting. There's a script for that if anyone would like to do that.
Elizabeth, I'll do the general evaluation.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to rename you now.
Hey, it looks like, oh, did you figure out how to do it? It looks like I have as well. Did you figure out how to do it, Elizabeth?
Do what?
Did you figure out how to change it in the agenda?
I don't have access to it. Only the president, secretary.
Looks like I just figured it out. Okay, so hold here. Let me do this. Toastmaster is Elizabeth. I got it. Who's our timer? Alicia. Grammarian is Renee.
Alicia, your timer?
I am the timer, yeah.
Okay,
ballot counter is Megan. Ballot counter. Who's our ballot counter? Count votes. Megan?
Sure.
All right. Sorry, guys. I was trying to figure. Let's see. Toastmaster introduction. Well, I guess that's Elizabeth. Okay. Speaker number 1, Alicia. Speaker number 2, Elizabeth.
Who is our grammarian?
That is Renee.
Renee? Okay, I'm going to rename her.
Yes, and I'm putting that in the agenda right this second. So as soon as I hit save, you'll be able to see it. And then table topics is Darcia.
Timer,
here, excuse me, who's the general evaluator?
Megan.
Megan, okay, here.
And you're the all counter too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, okay. Well, guys, a lot of times what happens is we sign up for these things in advance, and that does make our meeting move a little more smoothly.
We need a ballot counter.
I think we have that. I think it is Megan. Okay.
Okay.
So do you guys see it now? If you hit refresh, it should show the updated agenda. And what I did is I used the pencil. So apparently I've got access to it. Anyways, guys, while we're doing that, we sign up for the roles in advance and it does move a little more quickly. However, we're a little short-handed. And one of the reasons is that in Toastmasters, you can't take any of these roles unless you're a paid member. So guests can watch and guests can participate in the impromptu speeches, but that's it. So with that, I'll leave it to you, Toastmaster Elizabeth.
Great. Okay, let's get this meeting started, everyone. Welcome, guests and members. I would like to have the guests raise your hand really quick so I can see who's the guest here today. We have 3 guests, 4 guests. Okay, great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to add here guest so we know who's the guest here. And we'll go ahead and get this meeting kicked off right now. We have our timer of the day. And timer, may we please have the timing rules?
Yes, the timing rules are the timer rule is sign up participant with green card when minimum time has been reached. At the midpoint with yellow card and with red card as the maximum allowed time. Each participant has 30-second grace period to finish.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Alicia. We have a grammarian here today. May we have the grammarian report?
Should I just read my
Yes,
role?
you can share with us what the grammarian will be looking for during our speeches.
My role is to put on my glasses and read. My role is to introduce the word of the day and encourage its use by the participants here today. I will note who uses the word of the day correctly or incorrectly. I will listen to word usage and note any awkward or misuse of the English language, such as incomplete sentences or grammar.
Excellent. Thank you very much. With that said, off the top of your head, would you like to pick a word of the day that we must use? This is something that we will be using in our table topics. It can be anything from, what is it?
The word of the day for today, Friday, October 9th, 2020, is eschew. The meaning of this word is to deliberately avoid something. It comes from a word meaning dread or shun. It is not normally applied to the avoidance or shunning of a person or physical object, but rather only to the avoidance of or shunning of an idea, concept, or some other intangible. Eschew also means reject, swear off, disavow, and renounce. For example, I encourage everyone here in today's Toastmasters meeting to eschew violence.
Excellent. Thank you, Toastmaster Griffin. We also have an all counter. May we have the all counter rule?
Yes, my role as odd counter is to note words and sounds used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks during the meeting. The use of interjections such as and, well, but, so, like, you know, as well as sounds like tongue clicks will be tallied. I will also note double clutches, which are words or phrases that are repeated. For example, I. These injections generally disrupt the flow of speech and make the speech less interesting at the end of the meeting. I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Megan. And our final role is our ballot counter. May we have the ballot counter role, please?
I'm looking for it. As ballot counter, after the table topic session has completed, I will collect your votes for the best table topics presenter, and I will serve as tiebreaker if there is a need for one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And to give everyone here a little secret hint, if you look at the agenda, you'll see the definition of the roles are already on our agenda. We can always refer back to that. We would love to introduce our first speaker of the day, our Toastmaster, who is also our Vice President of Education, Alicia Lamborghini West. Alicia is in the Pathways of Dynamic Leadership. She is in level 1, and this is her evaluation and feedback of number 1. It is a 5 to 7 minute speech for the timer. Also, her title is Normalization of Drinking Among Women. Her speech introduction for Toastmaster Lamborghini West is the feminine drinking culture influence minds and feelings to the point that drinking is not only okay, it is a right, a need, and not in conflict with social norms. Welcome, Toastmaster Alicia Lamborghini West.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And well, hi to everybody, Toastmasters and guests. So today I am going to start with this topic, normalization of drinking among women. You know, I am, maybe you don't know, I am always dedicated to self-help topics related with women. Last year, I covered all the topics related to pressures, social pressures on women, and this year I am focalizing on this, the female drinking culture. I am going to start with a case. Mindy is this lady of that case. She is a wife and a mother, and everything looks good in her life. She is also a professional, but she has a secret. And her secret is that she is drinking too much. When that started many years ago. She has her daughter when she was 21 years of age, and she was living in a small town, a new town for her, and without any friends or family members. So gradually she started going to the banco in her neighborhood. This banco was centered around drinking. Every woman has to bring a bottle of wine, and the host has also some wine. So she started drinking in these gatherings, and then, since her husband was traveling a lot, she started drinking at home by herself. When her daughter was sleeping or in the daycare or something, she started drinking. Then her husband was traveling a lot, and then he started being more at home, and she kept drinking with this kind of habit that she has now, drinking every day after her chores with the house and her daughter. In her opinion and her friends' ones, this was not wrong at all. It was normal, given it was right and normal, given the work, the exhaustion, the stress that motherhood implies. Her husband was kind of in an alert. He said, usually he said, take it easy. With time, her drinking started becoming a problem with her husband. So with this case, I wanted to illustrate what is the normalizing of drinking. Normalizing as a behavior is a way of think and feel about something that in the past we used to feel as abusive or inappropriate behavior. If an action is considered now appropriate, I can engage in that because it's not against social norms or the way I want to conduct my life. Let's return to the drinking behavior. The feminine drinking culture influences our minds and feelings to the point that drinking is not only okay, it is a right, I earned it. It is a need, I deserve it. It is what everybody does. So why I have to exclude myself of the relaxing, fun ways of my social circle? The process of normalizing is so efficient that any behavior that is opposite to this normalizing is judged and negatively judged. Say, sorry. So sobriety is thought as something really negative and feared. You don't want to be a miserable sober. The normalization of drinking not only covers normal social drinking, it covers even binge of heavy drinking. Let me give you an example. Say that you are in a party at a resort and you're going to stay at that resort until the next morning. What is wrong to drink until I pass out? I don't have to drive home. Nobody expects anything from me. So what is the problem? The extent of drinking normalization goes beyond a lot of limits, as you can see, and include a lack of valorization and judgment when somebody acts in opposition to that. In some circles, all female activities have an alcohol an essential component of their gatherings. Even baby showers or kids' birthdays have wine or champagne or mimosas as an essential part. What about activities that doesn't include alcohol? They are pretty much avoided. If somebody doesn't drink, there are judgments and questions. What is wrong with her? Is she an ex-alcoholic or something like this? Okay, with these thoughts, I presented this topic of normalizing of drinking about women. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Excellent. We will give 1 minute for all of us to type. Oh, we can't do the chat. Okay, we usually give 1 minute and we type private feedback to the speaker, but that's okay. We will work on getting that chat activated for next time. Alicia, excellent job. If anyone would like to come off mute and verbalize it publicly, we'll give you up to 1 minute to speak now, if anyone would like to share anything.
I enjoyed the continuation of your speeches from your topics. They're all linked, but you're kind of evolving them over time. So it's interesting, learning a lot.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you.
I think you're spot on about us having to have some relaxation time when it comes to our parents, our motherhood. So that's definitely true.
Thank you.
Needing an outlet.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Our second speaker of the day is myself, and I am in Distinguished Toastmaster Pathway Program. I've completed multiple pathways, and I am now in my Distinguished Toastmasters project. I will be speaking on the first part of the 2 speeches of the Distinguished Toastmaster. The title of my speech is Winning is 90% of Preparation. The planning stages of hiring a new executive director in a nonprofit organization while leading a team of mostly volunteers. What could go wrong is my introduction. And we will have the timer start now. It is a 5 to 7 minute speech, and it's speech number 1. Welcome, Toastmasters and guests. It is exciting to complete 2 pathways and begin the Toastmaster journey of DTM, which stands for Distinguished Toastmaster. What does this mean? To earn your Distinguished Toastmaster, you must go through a series of steps. One of them is having a project that you lead and discussing it, sharing your plan. And that is what I'm here to share with you today. There is a board of directors that is in a nonprofit organization that I have a seat on, and abruptly our executive director resigned. In her resignation letter, she did share that she would be willing to stay on board until we found our new executive director, where she would be able to train and help this new executive director. We met as a board and we decided to accept her resignation effective immediately. What do you do when the executive director is no longer there to lead a nonprofit organization? And let me just share that a nonprofit organization, if you don't know already, the majority of them are run by volunteers. Nonprofit organizations such as Toastmasters, we run on volunteer. We don't get paid as a volunteer. We do this from the goodness of our hearts. We're passionate about it. We want to give back to the community and we want to help others. This nonprofit that I'm on the board of directors of is nothing different than any other nonprofit. It's run by a board of directors who oversee the executive director. The executive director oversees the paid staff as well as the volunteers. This specific nonprofit has 12 paid staff members and over 300 active volunteers with over 1,000 volunteers in total. What does this mean? It means they need leadership. And when your executive director leaves, the board of directors must meet and decide what to do. During this task of finding an executive director, they appointed myself and one other to co-lead the search for the new executive director. I immediately called the executive director who resigned, and I wanted to know, what do we need to do to keep you here? And if not, why did you resign? I listened, and then I went to the staff members and the volunteers, and I listened to them. We compiled a list of what we wanted in the new executive director, which happened to be the traits that were not being fulfilled in the current executive director, that we were learning through the planning stages that we really needed, but the executive director who resigned really was not fulfilling. Therefore, I went to task and I created a very detailed job description. We posted this job description. I did on my LinkedIn page, and I created the job post. we had over 300 resumes pour in. What happens when you have that many resumes? Thankfully, in a LinkedIn job posting, there are these key terms that you can add and activate that will help you filter through qualified job applicants. It is imperative to find a quality job applicant. Why? Because you don't want to waste their time, nor do you want to waste your time. And as a volunteer, especially co-leading such an enormous project to lead $1 million nonprofit organization, you want to make sure you're finding someone of quality. We searched far and wide all across the United States. I went through every single resume. That was the plan. The plan was also, once we filter through the resumes, we check references. And this, I mean, what could go wrong, right? This is so interesting. Once you compile the list, once you go through all the resumes, and then you start checking references, let me share with you, people do lie. On resumes, it is so important to plan and do this reference check. Once you compile your good pile, you now need to make the phone calls and set up Zoom meetings. We started meeting all these applicants. We started out with 48 people in 15-minute meet and greet Zoom meetings back to back. We narrowed it down. We planned on doing 1-hour interviews. But guess what happens? Zoom fatigue sets in. And once you start meeting 15-minute increments, all these different candidates, you realize you need to set yourself a break in between the 15 minutes. And guess what else can happen? People show up late. So you're in a Zoom meet and greet for 15 minutes and you have the early birds trying to get into the meeting room, but then you have the late arrivers still trying to get in. And you need to reevaluate the planning. The planning was good, but going through the process, you have to learn to be flexible and change the planning during the project, which is all about leadership and communication and collaboration. And then the hurricane started coming through these past few weeks ago, and we had to reschedule an entire week of meet and greets and interviews for the following week. And that's an interesting thing to do as well. I can't wait to share with you the rest of the second part of the speech, and let me leave you with this. If you're ever tasked with finding an employee, make sure you plan well and you leave room for you to have a break in between your Zoom interviews. Thank you. Okay, so we usually have 1 minute, and you're welcome to come off of mute if you would like to give me any feedback. And if not, we can go right into the next part.
I understand that struggle for sure. Interviewing is definitely a task at hand. Good job.
Every person, or do I wait until the end of the meeting?
Pardon?
Do I give feedback after every person, or do I wait till the end of the meeting?
Oh, you can give me feedback if you'd like. Usually it's a 1 minute silence, and we type in the chat privately to that person.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I was going to say then, Alicia, very good speech. Be careful with
Oh, are you talking about the grammarian report, Renee? Are you giving the grammarian report? We'll do that during the evaluation part of our PI, the third. I'll call on you in just a minute. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Megan. We're now
Hey,
going
guys,
to go.
today I gotta go because I feel like my body feel like uncomfortable today. I don't know. I have a little bit sick.
That's okay, Eugene. Thank you for being here. Please feel better, and we will see you next week.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
good
you.
weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We're running out of time. We only have 10 minutes, and we're going to go into our second part of the club meeting, which is the impromptu speeches, and that would be the table topics. I'm going to turn this over to the table topics master.
Hello, good morning. My role as Table Topics Master is to challenge members to develop their impromptu communication skills by answering unrehearsed questions. Okay, table topics are specifically designed to develop 4 essential communication skills: listening, thinking, organizing, and speaking. For now, let's have fun, Mr. or Mrs. Toastmasters. So I'm going to ask, let's see, Megan, can you give me a number between 1 and 365?
Sure. How about 225?
225. Okay. Okay. So 225. The question is, what is your saddest memory? Now, as table topics, I've brought that out, and this is going to be our topic, but does that mean that everyone just starts speaking on it, or one at a time? How does that work?
Elizabeth, do you want to explain?
Table topics is a 1 to 2 minute impromptu speech. The table topics master will call on one person and you will ask them a question. They have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. The green card is at 1 minute, the yellow card is at 1.5, and the red card is at 2 minutes. And you should use the word of the day, except guests who are called on table topics. They're excused if they don't use the word of the day. And why do we do the timing is because we vote on best table topics master. And I see Renee sharing the word of the day to emphasize a shoe. And that is it. And we usually, table topics masters usually call on guests to speak, and also anyone who does not have a role that's speaking a lot, you don't call on them. You give an opportunity for those who don't speak a chance to speak during the impromptu. Thank you.
Okay, excuse me. Thank you. So our topic is, what is your saddest memory? Oh, that's a hard one. I'm going to ask our guest, Leslie Mendoza.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, bear with me. This is I get anxiety when I speak. But my saddest memory is I am 3+ year sober now. But before then, thank you. Before then, I was in a place of dark, and it was my dark days where my son was becoming at an age where he was starting to understand, the wrongs of drinking and what it can do to you. And as far as that, I felt like he was going to start rejecting me when he got older, and he's already 13 now. So I was just daily drinking, and I finally came to a point where I knew I basically was thrown out of a house, and I had to do it on my own. Felt like I was a loser, and that I wasn't making the right decisions for my life, for my son. And I finally had decided to stop. But at that time, I felt like my whole world was crumbling apart. I felt like I was not being the best mother, and that I was failing as a friend, as a cousin, as a daughter, even as a partner. So I had finally decided to stop. But at that time, like I said, it was just dark memories. I wanted to die. I was contemplating suicide, and I didn't feel like there was a reason for me to live anymore, because what my body wanted and what I was addicted to was alcohol, and alcohol did nothing for me. I mean, at the time you think it's happiness, and it's not. It's a toxic drug. It's a toxic, and I finally decided to stop, and I'm the happiest I've ever been now. But at that, it was just for years, almost 20 years of just drinking almost every day. So that was my saddest moment, was almost losing my son and almost losing my life. So that's it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So your recommendation is to eschew from abusing
Oh,
alcohol.
yes. I'm sorry.
But no, thank you so much for sharing. Oh, that was really, really good. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
And congratulations on being sober. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
That concludes table topics.
We usually have at least 3, maybe 5 table topics, but we're running out of time. Therefore, I'm going to turn this over to our general, excuse me, our general evaluator of the day. And this is the third part of our pie, the E, the evaluation stage.
Greetings, Ms. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. My purpose is to evaluate everything that happens throughout the meeting. So the meeting started 1 minute late. Guests were welcomed and they were informed about Toastmasters and the meeting format. The president was prepared and organized. Everyone got a moment to introduce themselves. We were able to fill all of our roles. The Toastmaster introduced the general evaluator and the table topics. It does look like, in general, the grammarian did properly introduce the word of the day, even though most of us issued using it. I don't know if that was correct usage either. The word of the day was challenging, appropriate, and fitting. The timer was prepared and she did introduce her role. We introduced the counter and they introduced their role. The Toastmaster of the day called on people who did not have a meeting role during table topics. Well, our table topics master did. And our guests were invited to participate. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time for everyone. And our Toastmaster did a great job of ensuring our meeting stayed on schedule, even though we were running a little bit behind. So back to you, Toastmaster Ruiz.
Okay, it's 9:27. We have 3 minutes, and usually in the E, the evaluation stage, the general evaluator will immediately start introducing the evaluators, and they give the evaluations of the speeches. And then the evaluator calls on the grammarian, the timer, and so forth report, and then turns it back over to the Toastmaster, and then they close out the meeting and we vote on best table topics. It is 9:27. Do you guys want to end the meeting right on time, or do you want to hear the evaluations? Just raise your hand if you need to leave. Does anyone? Okay, so we need to leave. What I'll do is, Alicia, I will email you your evaluation and you email me my evaluation, and that will be it. And I would love to ask, in our few minutes that we have left, our guests, what did they think of our meeting? And I will call on Spencer. You just need to unmute.
It was good. I thought it was good. I got some stuff out of it, even though I wasn't the one speaking. Like, from hearing y'all's presentations, I would notice stuff that, you know, I could apply to myself. So I still got stuff out of it, even though I wasn't able to do the impromptu speech. A little bit happy for that. I was starting to get some butterflies in my tummy as Leslie was finishing. But yeah, I enjoyed the meeting and I'm glad I came today.
Thank you, Spencer. It's a pleasure to see you. Patricia, would you love to like to share your experience today?
I'll say the same. You know, those butterflies are always there. I have definitely, even in a position that I am, I have to speak often as well, but it's difficult when it's about a topic that you're not really familiar with. And so I was getting those same jitters as you, and I'm probably way older than you two. So it's okay. It's normal. It'll eventually go away, but being prepared will always help us in the process. But anyway, I enjoyed it. This is my second time. I plan to come back. Hopefully it is always Zoom. Just putting a bug in y'all's ear next year, because otherwise I won't be able to make it because of the time. Anyway, enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thank you, Patricia. Leslie, would you like to share your feelings about the meeting?
Yes, ma'am. I enjoyed it very much. It was very informative. I did jot down some notes. I have been reading some books as well as public speaking, because that is my weakness right now. So thank y'all for having me in the Toastmasters, and I do plan on doing future meetings with you all.
Great, thank you. Also, I'd like to share the meeting. We missed a lot of parts of the meeting. For example, the grammarian report, the awe counter report, the timer report, and our feedback. And this is so important, the evaluation part. And I apologize for not being able to have enough time to hear it. But next week, we will be better and watch our time more in the beginning. I believe we lost a lot of time trying to fill roles. With that said, have a great weekend, and it is now 9:31. We're only 1 minute past. We will see you on Friday. Eschew. Yes, thank you, Renee. Love your sense of humor.
I have a quick question. You said next week? I thought it was every 2 weeks. I'm just.
Oh, it is, and I apologize. I am so glad you brought that up, Leslie. I am so used to going to weekly meetings, and yes, League City is the club that meets only once every other week. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, everybody. And it will be in 2 weeks from now. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.